Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well on this thirsty Thursday. That's right, baby. It's thirsty Thursday, and you're looking thirsty? No, you're looking amazing. Now, I hummed and hard on whether to do this video or not because a few people reached out to me, and I thought, do you know what? Do I do it? Do I do it? Don't I do it? And obviously, I'm doing it because I'm here now, and I'm telling you about how I toyed with the idea, how it was like a tug of war. But let's get into it. Because look, I did touch on this on the live the other night. Now, you may or may not have seen it. I know lives aren't for everyone. So I think that it's important to do a short form video. And I think with current things that have been said by other content creators and, you know, the way that the community can be, and I get it because we all have our own thoughts and feelings about things. But look. So someone reached out to me and they said, look, you've got to check this out. You've got to look at this video because it's attacking Drip Drop. And look, what I will say is Drip Drop don't always say things that I agree with. You know, I can't always agree with Drip Drop, but I don't always agree with everybody, and I don't expect everybody to always agree with me because, again, we've got our own thoughts and feelings. We see things, we interpret things differently. But look, what I will do is I'll step in and have a comment. I'll have, you know, a little bit of a rant, if you like, when things happen and certain people or, you know, whether that be content creators or people in the community will call somebody out and they will speak to them or speak about them in a manner which is a little bit hypocritical. And when I say a little bit hypocritical, I mean a lot of bit hypocritical. A lot of bit. You know me, I love making up my own phrases. So who are we talking about? Yeah, well, look, I'm not going to say who we're talking about because that would be wrong, wouldn't it? But I can talk about the situation, and that is that Drip Drop releases a video. And in that video, he points out someone who was at the grub truck in the Idaho 4 case. And this person was interviewed by the Popo, and he had a bruise on his face. He had a bruise. And Drip Drop said, look, this is someone who was at the food truck, and he had a bruise on his head. He seemed to be quite defensive about the bruise on his head. He promised he'd had it a while. He promised. You're going to, aren't you? If you've got a bruise and the police are looking at you, you're gonna promise that you didn't get that bruise somewhere else. But anyway, look. So he was in the hours leading up to a crime that saw people murdered, he was there. He was there, interacting with them. And then he's got a bruise, but he may have had the bruise at the same time. But look, that's not the point here. The point being that it was insinuated that Drip Drop put this person's life at risk. Put his life at risk by doing a video that talked about his bruise. And the fact that he had said, look, I've had this bruise a little while. But the fact that he was at the grub truck and Drip Drop mentioned it, that was putting his life at risk. So you don't want to do that, do you? You don't want to put people's lives at risk by talking about the things that they do or where they were or their mannerisms, how they act, how they behave, because the wrong person may see your content and think, hold on a second, this person's got something in this and this person could be a dangerous killer, could be a dangerous man or woman. Women can be dangerous too. Look at Karen Reid. Only kidding. So look, it's a little bit hypocritical when somebody calls somebody out so publicly, even puts it in the thumbnail. Dangerous person. He's a dangerous person for telling everyone that person's a dangerous person, saying something wrong. When only days ago, this same person was questioning the behaviour of not one but two parents. One being Stacey Chapin. You don't behave like that. You don't release a book. You don't do books. You don't do interviews with Taylor Lawton and his wife. You don't do that. Because you shouldn't grieve that way. Because I know, I've seen the handbook that tells you exactly how to grieve as a parent. And you're not doing it. You're not following the rules. You're not following the bullet points. You're going freestyle. And we ain't happy about it. And because we're not happy about it, we're going to say about it. And the other one, or who was the other one? I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh yeah, Seth Rogers. You're not behaving properly. not behaving properly. Your son's missing. You should be behaving like this. You should be doing this. You shouldn't be caring about that or doing this. And look, I do it as well, because I call Stacey Chapin out because I think that's a little bit weird. Call Seth Rogers out. That's a little bit weird. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't call somebody out and then call somebody out for calling somebody out when I call people out. Because if I'm going to do something, then I must let others do the same. Because there's not one rule for me and one rule for other people. And there's not one rule for you and one rule for other people. But look, this is what happens in true crime. We don't seek the truth anymore. It's not about the truth. It's not about the truth. No one gives a shit about the truth. Well, some do. That's unfair. Some people rarely do care about the truth, but that's a minority. That is rarely a minority. A lot of people are here because they search for something to watch. They not so much, I don't want to call it entertainment, but they seek something to watch that they have an interest in and what grips and holds their attention. And for the most part, there is another group of people who seek validation. They look at a crime, they look at a person or persons, and they have an opinion. And if somebody matches that opinion, especially if it's a creator, and a creator who they like, it's like, oh, you agree with me. Thank you. You agree with me. You're telling the truth. No one else is, but you and me. We're in sync. We are in sync. We know, and this is the truth. Doesn't matter if it's the truth or not. You think it's the truth because someone's offering you validation. And with that validation, you feel that you and this other person are right. And here lieth the problem. Because in the Idaho 4 case, in the Kylie Rodney case, even back then, Summer Wells and Michael Vaughan, all this, it weren't about the truth. It was about, for the most part, it was about validation. Who agrees with my thought process? How I've looked at the stuff and computed that in my head. Who has the same head computer as me and have come up with the same result? Because they're the people who are right. Because I know I'm right. And we've got to understand that we are not always right. We don't know. And in the Idaho 4 case, what the fuck do we really know about this case? What do we absolutely know is factual? Not a lot. Absolutely not a lot. So we can have thoughts, we can have opinions, we can think that someone who was with the victims on the night of the crime, who turned up in a police video with a bruise on their head, we can think that they may or may not have had something to do with this crime. If we are open-minded enough to consider that Brian Kohberger may have been wrongfully arrested. And the funny thing is, people who, or the person who called this other person out on Bruisehead Man is somebody who is open-minded enough to consider that Brian Kohberger may not have done this crime and they may need to see more evidence, that the jury's not set in stone in terms of a result just yet. So whoa back, hold your horses, step back, Shadrach, we don't know yet. So then, with that mentality, how can you say that calling someone, he didn't call him, he just talked about him and said, he's got a bruise on his head, he was at the grub truck, he was behaving a little bit, do you know what I mean? It's just that. And look, some of it's for entertainment. Some of it is for entertainment. And the downside is, to get by on this platform and to be successful in the niche, sadly, you have to succumb to the fact that some people are here for an entertainment. And I use that term loosely because, I mean, if someone sits there with fantastic information, but they do it in a boring fucking monotone way, and they're sitting there, and this is what happened. Karen Reed reversed her car at 25 mile an hour and hit her partner. He dead. People are not going to watch that. But if you dramatise it, give it a few effects and stuff, it holds people's attention. And your information may not be as great as Mr. Monotone or Mrs. Monotone. Do you understand? It's getting that balance. It's getting that fine balance. And you can't please everybody. So stop trying to please everybody. People need to have an open mind. They need to understand why content creators do certain things certain way. And if they give you information, don't take it for gospel. Do your own research. If you're unable to do your own research, then befriend people who can. Befriend people who can. Or if you cannot and you can't do any of that, and you're just going off gut feeling, have the balls to understand that your gut feeling may be wrong and have an open mind to the potential of there being an alternative thing that has happened. But anyway, I'm out of here. So I'm going to go and do some research on men with bruises in Moscow. Men bruises Moscow. Anyway, I'll catch you all in the next one.